If there's something you've always wanted to know about DTM, this is your chance to find out the answers. So, what's it all about? The Distinguished Toastmaster is the highest level of educational achievement you can attain in Toastmasters. So it's quite awe-inspiring, isn't it? How do you get it? Well, there's quite a few hoops to jump through. The first one is you need to complete 2 complete pathways. Now, when I was on my first pathway, the completion of one pathway was so daunting. But if you keep turning up each week, if you keep doing your speeches, you suddenly find that you are towards the end of your pathway, probably have started a second one when you got to about level 3, and it's not impossible. So bear in mind, keep doing your speeches, complete those pathways. You need to serve as a club officer, either for 2 6-month terms or a whole year. Many of you may have already done that. We do it without any thought of a DTM. It's just the next step when you've been a member for a while. Then you need to serve a 1-year term as a district leader. Now, district leader is area director upwards. So area director, division director, and of course, one of the 3 people who look after the whole of our district. You need to serve successfully as a club mentor or coach. Now, I'm not completely clear what this involves, and we will be asking more questions and finding out more later. And also serve successfully as a club sponsor or conduct a speechcraft or youth leadership program. Again, more of those in a minute. Okay, in addition, you have to do a DTM project. Now, if you've been on one of the pathways that needs you to do a high performance leadership project for your level 5, the DTM project is not dissimilar. You can't use your level 5 project as your DTM project, but you'll have got the hang of what it's all about. You need a team, you need to give a couple of speeches. I'll explain a little bit more about that later because we're going to be asking the panel just to give us a quick taste of what project they did. So let's meet the panel. On the panel, we have our very own Debbie Williams, we have Claire Crowther, we have Jackie Hogan, and we have Sabri Domez. So they all have a different perspective on DTM, different experiences, and be at different stages. So I'm going to stop sharing now, and I'm going to ask each of them, just in the order they were on there, which was just completely random, to introduce themselves and just say who they are, what club they're from, and where they are in their DTM project. So let's start with you, Debbie. If you'd like to just introduce yourself for those few people who do not know who you are and make everybody aware.
Okay, so my name is Debbie Williams. I'm the current Programme Quality Director for District 91. In terms of where I am with my DTM, I have a completed DTM already, which I got, I think last year, actually achieved last year. But equally, I'm also halfway through my second DTM. And I'll explain more about that because I'd actually completed a number of paths, and then my VPE said to me, "You do realise that you can get a DTM?" And I was like, "Really?" And it stemmed from there. So that's where I am.
Excellent. I think that happens to a lot of us. We don't realise how much we're doing just in the normal course of things. Claire, you're not pinned, Claire, but can we pin Claire? And Claire, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself? Yeah, you're still muted.
should be unmuted now, I'm hoping.
You are.
Yes, okay. Do you get nervous at the mere thought of public speaking? So read the LinkedIn message to me from a friend of mine back in 2012. A resounding, yes, I do. And she continued, if so, why not visit Hull Speakers and see how we can support you? I did. I went to their next meeting and I joined that night. And the rest is history. Along the way, I belonged to 4 clubs: Hull Speakers, Astleby Advanced Speakers, Headingley Speakers, and Armada Speakers. I've been awarded 2 DTMs in March 2020 on the previous programme and in April 22 on the Pathways programme, and the Accredited Speaker Award in 2017. I've held various committee roles, and my passion nowadays is mentoring fellow members on their Toastmaster journey. Back to you, Julie.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Jackie, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Wow, that's an act to follow, Claire. Like you, I got my first DTM. It's so long ago, I almost can't remember. It was back in the dark ages, I think. It was under the previous programme, like Claire. And I actually set out to become a DTM at that time because I thought, what's the best I can do? How good can I get? I'm one project away from my second DTM under the new Pathways system, which I discovered last year that I was almost there. And I thought, oh, okay, I might as well go and do the last project, which is Speechcraft. But that's how I got there. My passion now is helping other people make the most of their skills and get the most out of Toastmasters. I've belonged to, I think, about 5 or 6 clubs over the years. I'm still with my original club, Chiltern Speakers.
Excellent. Thank you, Jackie. And Sabri, could you tell us a bit about yourself, please?
Yeah, hi everybody, good evening. My name is Sabri and I am joining you from Beckenham Communicators. I've been recently a member of Beckenham Communicators, but back then I've been a member of Toastmasters since 2015. And I've been a member of different clubs in Turkey because I'm originally from Turkey and moved to the UK a couple of years ago and received my DTM in 2022 after being 7 years of member. But previously, I've been the member of the biggest club in Turkey, which is Istanbul Turkish Club, which I will be mentioning about what we have done previously. And then also before pandemic, I was a member of Ablay's Advanced Online Club in New Zealand. So I was attending their online clubs even before pandemic. Yeah, that's me. And I can say that I am I think one of the youngest members who achieved a DTM in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was about to receive my first DTM before the pathway, but even in the middle of the whole traditional education system, I had to change my direction to pathways, and now I received it 2 years ago.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Now, we did have a 5th panellist, but sad to say he is nursing a very bad cold at the moment and wasn't up to joining us, which is a shame because I think he's right at the end of his DTM. It's not yet completed, so it would have been interesting to have heard from someone who's literally in the throes of doing it now. Okay, now I have some questions on my own. They are probably questions that many of you have got anyway, so I'm going to run through those. We'll talk a tiny bit more about the project and then we'll open it up to any questions you like. So my first question goes to you, Debbie. What would you say to someone who says, "I've got time to do a DTM, I'm too busy"?
I would say to you, don't focus on the DTM. Just focus on getting through the education program. Focus on, for example, maybe just focus on a Triple Crown Award for the year, which is like completing 3 different path levels for the year. I think just have a goal in mind rather than focus on the finish line, focus on one obstacle at a time. And I just think that sometimes if you overthink on a DTM and make that your focus, then everything else along your journey and along your path becomes secondary. And that isn't what the whole Pathways experience is about. So I would say enjoy the journey, enjoy the learning process, because each pathway takes you through a different learning process, and think of all the various elements that's required along your DTM project, which is, for example, to be a club officer, to be a district leader, and other elements, even to be a speechcraft coordinator or a youth leadership coordinator. Those are lots of different elements to take into consideration, and that accumulates over time. So I would enjoy the journey. Don't focus on, and don't give yourself a deadline by saying, oh no, I need to complete my DTM by a certain period and this, that, and the other. It will probably be unrealistic. And I would say just do each bit one step at a time.
I like that answer. That makes it seem a lot more relaxed, and almost you get a DTM by accident. You just do all these things because you want to do them, and suddenly someone says, well, you've just got to do that, and you're there. So nice way of thinking about it. Jackie, tell me about what district leadership roles you did.
Well, I've been area director twice. I've been division director once, and I was also a Pathways ambassador and a Pathways whatever the other role was. So not the very senior roles. I'm not interested in that. I was doing that in my daytime job, but area director, I did it twice, and I did the second time quite recently. It's fun. It really is. Division director's like being a director of an organization, but area director is just, you get to meet everybody in your local area. You get to travel. Whenever you visit a club, they make you do something, which is another opportunity. No, that's basically what I've done.
Okay, thank you. Now, I'm still very muddled about the difference between a club coach and a club mentor. Sabri, can you pick that up?
Yeah, this is one of the terms that many people can use it intertwined between like the being as a club coach and club mentor, but actually these roles are completely different and they have different purposes, but again, both aim to support the clubs and members in a unique ways. A club mentor in general is just to assign a brand new club, just to starting out their first initial phases, and their job is just to guide the club in early stages. And also it helps the member understand meeting roles, because we all know that we struggle when we first become a member of Toastmasters, what those people are doing, what are the roles. And mentor is the one who helps to understand the roles, especially showing them how to serve as a best practices. And also you can think of a mentor as someone helping a new club start strong, being it strong. And the club coach is, on the other hand, is kind of works with an existing club that is kind of struggling, and typically one with fewer than 12 members at the point when the club coach is assigned, because this is one of the requirements to be assigned as a coach. You can't be a club coach for 13 or 14 members because it doesn't meet the requirements. And the club coach in general collaborates with the club to address the challenges like low membership or lack of enthusiasm or issues with the structure. And again, the goal of the coach is help the club rebuild the growth rather than I mean, the mentor helps the new club to grow, but the club coach helps the already existing structure to make it better.
Got
And
it. Got it.
yeah, we can simply summarize this too.
It's nice and clear. Thank you, Sabri. That's helped me a lot. Are there any, and I don't know whether perhaps Debbie, you'd be in the best position to ask this, are there any training courses for being a club coach, or where would I go to say, you know, I want to be a club coach or a club mentor?
There is a specific pathway for club coaches. So whether you want to be a club coach, you have to complete this path, this specific path. You can go to Pathways. If you can't find it, just do a search, club coach, I should say, and it's there. So whether you want to be a club coach or whether you are a club that needs a club coach, both sides need to complete this course, because there's certain expectations of what a club coach does and what the expectations are from the club's point of view as well. So, and it's expected that if you want to be a club coach, you have to have completed that in a first instance. Someone on a committee of the club that you want to coach will have to have completed it as well. And only then, if it's a good match, can you be assigned a club coach for that particular club.
Oh gosh, so it's, you know, quite a sort of complicated, not complicated, but you know, a lot more to it than I thought, matching someone with a club. That's interesting. So, Claire, I believe you've been involved in being a club sponsor. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Indeed. What is involved in being a club sponsor? You sponsor a club. Sounds really simple. Typically, members from existing clubs get together and set up a new club. And it's not as easy as it might sound. You need 20 paid up members in order to charter with Toastmasters International. And you only get your DTM credit for your club sponsorship once that club is chartered.
Right.
And I know Sabri's already covered Club Mentor. If I can just put it in here, because I believe that the club sponsor and the club mentor work hand in glove, because the club mentor, once the club's chartered, that's the club sponsor kind of finished. And then the club mentor takes over the baton for at least the next 6 months to make sure that they stay strong and also effective as a club. And I wondered how many people here have been a club sponsor or a club mentor, with a show of hands. I've got 1, 2, 3. Oh, with this hand symbol, if you haven't got that, not terribly many. Oh, 4. Thank you. I was going to ask everybody why they had chosen to do that, to sponsor or indeed be a mentor for a club. If anyone could pop that in the chat maybe, or take your microphones off, whatever works. What made you do it?
Anybody want to ask a question now?
I had my arm twisted for both.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. Anybody else like to join in that one?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Okay.
I'm part of a club. Well, we are in the process of chartering a club and doing the marketing as VPPR unofficially. Does that also mean that I can be seen as a sponsor, or?
I would say yes. You can, for each new club, you can only have 2 sponsors, or up to 2 sponsors and up to 2 mentors, and you have to register using the proper paperwork to make that all happen. I've got a couple of links that I can pop in the chat in a minute for more information on that. But yes, you can be, if there's not 2 already. It sounds like you're doing that sort of role already.
Mm-hmm.
The typical answer from people is, I'm doing it to go towards my DTM. And the other one is, my company asked me to. And if you're in one that says, my company asked me to, you're in a better position in a sense. You haven't got to go out to this sort of morass of people and try and work out how on earth you're going to attract them to your club. The TI definition of a club sponsor is organise a new club, set up club meetings, complete the paperwork. It sounds awfully simple, but I feel the hardest thing is finding those potential members. And what you're talking about, being VPPR and trying to get that publicity, is absolutely key. What we did for Headingley Speakers, we had a team of 5 of us, yes, 5, to sponsor and mentor the new club. Nominally 2 sponsors, 2 mentors, and a Jane. Now, everybody needs a Jane. Jane has vast experience of different clubs, including having set one up in Spain. Our team had the advantage of drawing on that wealth of chartering experience, strengths in social media, so for the publicity, and marketing knowledge. We did.
Excellent. That's okay. Gone. You can look more.
Okay, just say, okay, in conclusion, work hard at attracting new members. That's the main thing. I'll put these 2 links in the chat.
Okay, interesting. So it's something maybe someone could do within a club. Now, I need to talk to you more about that, because I've got one club that's struggling a little, and that might help them. Okay, the other area I'm still woolly on is speechcraft. I think, Sabra, you've been involved in speechcraft, have you? Do you want to pick that one up?
Yeah, I think Speechcraft is one of the incredible programs that you can achieve gathering the members offered by Toastmaster to help individuals, again, to develop their public speaking and communication skills. But I can say that it's not just for communication or public speaking skills, also connecting with the new people who has a really, they're keen to communication. And it's kind of a blended learning experience that combines hands-on experience from an experienced Toastmasters members, but also it's kind of an interactive online projects tailored specifically for the adult learners who hasn't been in the public speaking or communication, let's say, the side of the world. And also, this program either can be 4 weeks, 4 sessions, 6 sessions, and 8 sessions, with the 8 sessions being recommended by the Toastmasters because it's a standard format for the best experience. And agenda is also provided for the 8 weeks, but you can shorten the 8 weeks program sessions to 4 weeks and 6 weeks. And what I did is I've chosen 4 weeks because the time that I conducted Speechcraft is the time when everybody was overwhelmed with the online meetings and everything. And my target was to keep those people or give them as much as the possible of the best practices within the Toastmasters. And yeah, I've conducted 4 weeks sessions focusing on how to choose a topic, how to use your body language properly, and also how to choose some powerful words, because those are the topics that you select for each sessions. For example, for the first session, you can either combine choosing a topic and using body language, but also you can just select one topic. For example, body language for your first session, and then combine another sessions for your second, third, fourth, fifth, 8 sessions. It's all up to you because you are the coordinator of that program. It doesn't have a specific kind of rule book. Of course, there are some things that you need to follow, but as a coordinator of Speechcraft program, you are kind of the king of the program, and then you can organize it for the best usage for your Speechcrafters. And yeah, when I organized my Speechcraft program, again, I opted for 4 weeks instead of 8 weeks or 6 weeks. And then, yeah, I've chosen my members who has really Speechcrafters that they were just wanted to improve their communication skills. This is really important because otherwise they will leave your program in the middle of the Speechcraft, which I've also experienced in some other programs. But in shortly, if you select your Speechcrafters from the people that really wants to get the best out of the Speechcraft, they will become a member. And fortunately, all of our 5 Speechcrafters become a member of our club. And then again, as I'm going to refer you, Claire, this is again one of the best good ways to gain a member to your club.
Yeah, okay. So you have to run it separate to your normal club meetings. You can't combine it within a club meeting.
It's possible, but again, we are talking about the best practices and the giving the best to our Speechcrafters. So what I did is I set another meetings additional than our like regular meetings, and then invite our regular club members to the Speechcraft so that they can be involved and understand how become a like a Speechcrafter, how to conduct a Speechcraft program, so that it will bring a common sense to the room, to the meeting, and then everyone has an understanding of what Speechcraft is and how it's conducted. This is also one of the takeaway of having a Speechcraft in your club.
That's excellent. We have a couple of questions, so we may as well pick that up because they're probably on this very subject. So Anna-Kay, do you want to go first?
I think Vicky was first.
Oh, okay. All right. Vicky, would you like to ask your question?
Yes, I would. One of the members of my club, Toastmasters of Paris, Last year, she's working for a company, an organization, and I said to her, you know what, this company looks like they would be interested in Toastmasters. And then finally, 10 days.
Oh, we've lost you, Vicky. You turned your sound off.
Do
Are you
hear
back?
me now? Do you hear me now?
We can hear you now. We
Okay.
lost you for a few seconds.
Okay. So 10 days ago, we did a demo meeting. We had 50 participants. Yeah, we had organized it so that there was a survey that they had to fill out. And it turns out that there are 20 people who do want to become members. Yeah, very exciting.
Okay.
And around another 10 maybes. So the question that I have is, so the next steps are, okay, we need to charter this prospective club. I am, let's see, I don't have a DTM, and can I be a club sponsor? Yes, I can be.
Anybody want to pick that up in particular?
I was thinking Debbie probably is best placed for doing that. Is that fair, Debbie? Sorry, putting you on the spot.
No, that's fine. I would ask this question first.
Yes.
The company that that wants to set the club up, is there someone in the company that's championing this? Because
it's both the member that is part of my club.
Yeah.
We work together really well to pull this demo meeting off.
Okay, so if you're
And
working, if you're doing it together,
I did meet with the HR person, the human resources person. She's interested. We're just at the beginning of negotiations where the company is willing to pay half of the membership fee, and the members seem to, accept paying the other half. I don't understand how the $165 works, whether it's the company that is going to pay for that. You have to set up a bank account, you have to establish an association. What are the steps, actually? If I want to be sponsor of this club, can you step me through the process?
Vicky, this
Okay,
this
I'm not
may be a lengthy answer. Shall we save this one for the end to see if we've got time? Because I would hate for those who've come to not get the questions answered they want. Can we come back to you at the end, Vicky?
Sure.
Okay,
Julie,
thank you.
I can give a very quick answer to this if necessary, so you don't forget it. The very quick answer is that yourself and any other member, yes, you can put yourselves down as sponsors. When the paperwork is being completed, you need to make sure that both your names are down as sponsors. This isn't the right forum to talk about how to charter a club. That's a completely different discussion. But in terms of you being a sponsor, yes, you can. But I would say there is on the Toastmasters International website a link how to charter a new club. I would follow that link precisely so that you don't have any issues going through with the chartering of the new club.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Debbie. Annika, have you got a fairly quick question? Because
Well, I actually have a couple of questions, but I'll start with one. The Speechcraft, I had prepared a lot, read a lot about it, and then I said in my club, I want to do Speechcraft, and they said, oh, it's not necessary. We get new members anyway, so we don't need Speechcraft. And then I thought, okay, what do I do now?
So I can answer it quickly. You don't have to do Speechcraft, or you don't have to conduct a Speechcraft program, but it's just for the people who has, again, no idea about public speaking. Because if you don't have any problem with gaining a member, it means that there are some people who has some understanding about public speaking and communication skills. But Speechcraft is mainly for the people who has no idea about it. That's why it really helps them to understand it clearly and then attract Toastmasters the education program attracts them, and then they want to become a member. This is also, again, another way of gaining a members. If they come naturally, yeah, this is perfect. But if they don't come naturally, which many people has that problem, and then Speechcraft is there for the club members or club officers to, let's say, to gain new members. That's a little bit slightly different than, again, gaining a new member and then offering them a Speechcraft program.
No, my idea was to do a Speechcraft program and then combine that with that. For instance, they can become a member and then get they have to pay less to become a member of the club, something like that. But I'll figure it out. But maybe because I thought maybe Speechcraft, someone said you can use it for a club that is struggling to get members.
It doesn't have to be, again, I mean, if the club struggling is to gain a new member, yes, Speechcraft is there. But again, if the club doesn't struggle with gaining any members, you can also do the Speechcraft for the sake of some people. For example, I know one member do it for students for free, for them just to explain what Toastmasters is, what kind of communication problems they will go into work life. For example, this is very targeted and very specific point for Speechcraft, but at the end, that all those students gain a lot of experience within a short period of time, and then gain the most out of from the Toastmasters Speechcraft program.
So maybe it's not the goal to get new members, but just to get people interested in Toastmasters. And if they get members, it's nice, but they don't have to become members, of course.
Yeah, they don't have.
Jackie, you had something to add to that, did you?
Yes, I've been involved in a number of Speechcraft, both as a standalone thing, which we did on 2 full days on Saturdays, and we've done it to raise membership as well. It depends on what you want to do it. It works very well for companies that don't know anything about Toastmasters but would like to sponsor a regular meeting within their organisation that introduces them to some of the skills that we learn in Toastmasters. They may or may not become members after that, and sometimes they become a new club.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. While you've got yourself unmuted, I was going to quiz you about the youth leadership program. I'm still woolly about that. Can you only run it in schools? Do the schools approach you? Do you approach the schools? How does it work?
Well, I was going to describe it because it's Speechcraft on steroids. Because you are dealing with under 18s. I did mine for 25, 16 to 18-year-olds in a local school. And it's a very different experience to Speechcraft. It's really intended for youth. You don't have to do it in schools, as long as you could do it, say, for Cubs or Scouts or Girl Guides, or any group that's made up of young people, really. Most people do it in schools. The way to get in is through networking. I happened to know a local governor, and I'm sure you'll find that you know a school governor, and they will bite your hand off if you offer to do it, because they often don't have this sort of setup within their schools. It's a lot of work. And my first tip, if you're going to do it, is to assemble a team of other Toastmasters to help you do it. It's the same for Speechcraft, isn't it, Sabri? But it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done in Toastmasters, to be honest. And I'm still in touch with the school, and it was 10 years ago that I did this particular school. They were fabulous. But do make sure you've got the full support of the school. Most people do it sort of as an extracurricular activity at the end of the school day. But it's as flexible as the school is prepared to make it. But make sure that you have someone within the school who is going to be your sidekick, like the headmaster or deputy headmaster, because if you think disciplining a Toastmasters meeting is tough, you wait till you do 25, 16 to 18-year-olds. but it's really, really worth doing.
You have inspired me, Jackie. So
Thank you.
it's interesting. Now, I'm going to move the discussion along. We haven't really touched on the actual DTM project yet, so I'm going to just spend a couple of minutes explaining what I understand it to be, and then if the panel could very quickly, in about a minute, just give a flavour of what they did for their project, just to give us some inspiration and some ideas. I've got a few thoughts, but I still need to kick them around. So, I mentioned earlier that the DTM project is very similar to the HPL, the High Performance Leadership Project, which is in 2, I think, of the pathways in level 5. So if you've done one, you've really got a good idea what it's about. If you haven't, you need to get a team together. And in the HPL, one person on the team at least must be a Toastmaster. I imagine it's similar with DTM. You need to give a speech at your club to tell everybody what the project is about. You need to go and do the project, and then you give a longer speech, I think it's 8 to 10 minutes, saying how the project went. 360-degree evaluations, which is in the HPL and in other places as well. So you've probably come across that. So you need feedback from somebody who's your peer, who's above you, and who's, was below you, part of your team or whatever. And it can be pretty wide reaching, I think, as long as it benefits an organisation of some sort. Now, that organisation can be Toastmasters, but doesn't have to be. Yeah, I don't know how you sort of prove the benefits of your project, but we shall see. Let's go around the panel and just, if you can give me a flavour of what you did for your project, and then we'll throw it open to the floor and quiz you further. So, Sabri, do you want to start?
Yes, of course. And I was remembering the time that I was so curious and I was so excited about my DTM project because to me, it's kind of an authentic one. And I was also, as usually, I was looking for some ideas about what to do for my DTM project. But then I realized that as a natural a business analyst, I love taking notes. And I have so many different notebooks for my Toastmasters clubs. I can say that I have more than 10 different notebooks, which I'm going to tell you that. Now, when I look at my notebooks, I realize that for the grammarian rule, I've taken so many good usage and bad usage practices. And then for my DTM project, as a native Turkish speaker, I realized that I should create a book for that includes all the good usage, good practices, and bad usage from the all over kind of 150 meetings that I've attended in the different clubs. And then I gathered all the information together with the 4 different members because one of my members he was so good at with the design of the documentation, and the other one was so good at planning what to write in that let's say kind of handbook rule book. And yeah, at the end we had tons of good usage of the Turkish phrases and the kind of sentences that they can use in their speeches while they're delivering it, because again, when in the meeting, when we have the grammarian rule, they just speak, and then the other meeting we forget what we have discussed previously. But imagine, even we have a word of the day, but we sometimes forget to use it, and we never care what does it really mean. And also that book includes word of the day of those meetings, and then it became a really, really good handbook for my Turkish clubs.
Okay, excellent idea. I'm terrible at using the word of the day. It's a real downfall of mine. I'm going to go round on my screen, so I'll do Debbie next, then Claire, then Jackie. So, Debbie, what did you do for your project?
It was whilst I was Club Growth Director that I noticed that there was a knowledge gap, because I mentioned earlier that there was a pathway for club coaches, but there wasn't anything specifically for club mentors. And what I wanted at the time was, or what I found frustrating at the time, was that there was no uniform way in which club mentors would sponsor clubs. So my DTM project was to actually create a guide for club mentors so that there could be some form of uniformity in terms of how they approach the support of new clubs. And having been both a club mentor for both corporate and community club, I wanted to use that experience to put that DTM project together, as well as the experiences of some of the club mentors that I was supporting as well. And so that was my project at the time.
Excellent, excellent. Jackie, what did you do?
Oh, I thought you were going to do Claire next.
Sorry, I did say, didn't I? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Do you want me to go next, Claire? Might as
Yes,
well.
yeah, okay, Claire, go next. No, you're still muted.
First of
That's
all,
it.
apologies to, is that okay? Apologies to Debbie. I put a link in for the Club Mentors, a guide that was produced by District 84. Sorry, if there's a District 91 one, would you like to pop that in the chat as well so people can use our very homegrown one? That would be a lot better, I think. On to my DTM project. We had a new far-sighted president called Yvette who wanted club mentoring introduced into our club. There it was, an ideal topic for my DTM project. Get some volunteer mentors and give it a go first. Seemed like a good way to start, which we did. And then let's produce some resources to help those mentors and encourage future mentors. I set up a project team consisting of those volunteer mentors that had a go at it and one new member to give us some newness perspective on everything that we produced. And I thought, I'm going to do a survey of our mentors and find out what support material they needed. For several weeks, the questionnaire questions just seemed beyond my grasp. I couldn't think what I was going to ask them. And then, light bulb moment, I know this is so obvious, you're probably shouting at your screen now. Why not ask them what they need? Duh. Yes. Okay, so I then switched gear and went into 3 open-ended questions. How's your mentoring going at the moment? What would help you now? And thinking back to when you started, what would have been most useful to then? Obviously, that one more towards encouraging new mentors. And honestly, our mentors, they were just so inspirational. They not only answered the questions, they volunteered to produce some of the resources that we needed. And the results, they are particularly valuable because the mentors have been involved in producing them. In summary, my advice for your DTM project, look for a problem that is crying out for a solution in your club, organisation or community. Listen to the opinions of the key people affected and then build your solution. That was my DTM project.
Brilliant. Thank you, Claire. Jackie, what did you do?
I took a rather different approach, actually. I spoke to some of the trio and said, is there a project you need someone to do?
Okay.
And Helena came back and said yes. She was district director at the time. And she says, I need someone to review the incentives programme. And I said yes, not realising quite what I'd bitten off. And I assembled a team made up of senior people within clubs in District 91 and people who'd complained about the incentives programme and got them together. And we had a good brainstorm about it. We sent out questionnaires to the club presidents and VPEs and said, what would incentivize you to do these various things that relate to the goals of the district? And essentially pulled all that together and made a recommendation and wrote a paper and sent it to the district leadership.
Excellent. Well, I'm quite inspired. I've got some ideas already going around in my head, and I'm sure other people have. Now, we've heard an awful lot. We've heard all the requirements for a DTM. We've heard about speechcraft and youth leadership schemes, club coaches, club sponsors, the different projects. There must be some questions out there that people are bursting to ask. So, can you either put them in the chat, I will have a look at that, or put your hand up symbol and we will leave you to ask, control your own direction of the next bit. There's one here, 2 questions. I would like to become area director next year. Oh, my area. I'll have a word with you. Now, they advise me it is better to be club president first. Is that really necessary? Would anybody like to pick that up? I would immediately say no. Yes, go on, Jackie.
Yeah, I'll pick it up because I actually answered it in the chat. No, it isn't necessary for you to be club president, but it's a good idea that you've done at least one reasonably senior role on your club committee. I think Annika's been VP Ed, and I know of a number of area directors who were not president first. I have to say, most of them went back and became president. But it's not. I think what's necessary is an understanding of how Toastmasters works, or a willingness to find out quickly.
Yes. Someone's not so much a question, more a bit of information. We use speechcraft programs for preparation of graduation speeches. That's not a bad idea. Vicky, let's come back to you and see if we can sort anything else out for you.
So I have been in Toastmasters since January 2018, and every single year I was on the executive committee, membership, PR, president, media president, area director, and now I'm president again. And I never looked at what it would take actually to become a DTM. You know, in a sense, Toastmasters has taken me more in the leadership role as opposed to the speaking role. What am I missing to become a DTM?
Were you here for my original PowerPoint presentation, Vicky?
Oh, I wasn't.
Okay, I might quickly share that and put the slide up because we went through everything you need to do for your DTM. So let me put that up.
Thank you so much, Julie.
Here we go. Others may have missed it as well.
And there will be a recording, will there, Julie, that we'll see?
It'll be on the recording. Yes, that's true. Sorry, let's get it back to the beginning. Okay, so this is what you missed at the beginning. 2 learning pathways.
Okay.
Serve as a club officer for 2 6-month terms or an annual term. Serve a complete 1-year term as a district leader, that's area director upwards.
Okay, area director then counts.
Yes, it does. Serve successfully as a club mentor or coach. We went through the differences of those. Serve successfully as a club sponsor or conduct speechcraft or youth leadership program. So there's 6 things there. You have some choices.
6. I see 5.
And then in addition, you've got your project. Sorry, did you say there was only 5? I think
Yes.
there was 6. Ah, yes, you're quite right. Sorry, 6 in all. So 5 things here, plus your project. Does that help? And anyone else who missed the beginning, that's just a quick recap.
Okay, so I can actually become a club sponsor for this new the club that we're creating. And but club mentor, in a lot of ways, I felt like as area director, I was a club mentor, but
you can't claim twice for the same thing, I don't think, and you have to, I believe, put all the correct paperwork in. So it has to be very clear cut, especially the club sponsor, club coach, and so on. So I began to go down that route, and yes, it's more sorted out and ordered than you would think.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, we have about 7 or 8 minutes left. Any more questions? I can't see any hands up. I'm going to check Claire, have you got a question yourself?
I was just going to say that if you're looking for DTM projects, I've put a link there to a Toastmasters magazine that's got 5 distinguished Toastmasters talking about their projects. So there's one that you might recognise and 4 that you won't have seen if people are interested in that.
That's
okay, great, Claire.
Can somebody also put the pathway. Someone was talking about the pathway for member coach.
There is a coaching course for pathways. Debbie mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, maybe
It's in the
someone can
base
put a
camp.
link in the chat.
If you go to Toastmasters International website and search for club training, coach training, you'll find it. I did it 2 weeks ago. It doesn't take too long. The training, anyway.
Actually, I think I may even have done it myself because I've got something ticked off because there's no speeches involved, is it? It's just going through the right. Okay. Yes, I think I did that when I was going to possibly become a club coach. Debbie, have you got your hand up?
Yes, I just want to say, Jackie mentioned that she got her project because she approached a district leadership team and asked them whether there are any projects available. As I sit on a district leadership team for District 91, if someone is looking for a project, then please get in touch.
Okay, that's a good plug. So that was the route I was going to go down, and I may come back to that because what I was originally thinking of, I think it's almost too ambitious. So I might do something within Toastmasters. So I may well get in touch with you, Debbie. So any more questions? Any in the question? Any in the chat? The 2 pathways for oh, I see, not one of the regular ones. Okay. Yeah, can't see any more questions in the chat.
Alan's got his hand up.
Alan?
Thank you, Jackie. Can always rely on you. Yes, I just put in the chat that everyone here on the 4 panelists are an inspiration to anyone wanting to do their DTE. And I have to say, I think you've all done a superb job. And I think, Julie, you possibly are looking too far. I think there are things for you to do within. Go to Debbie, speak to Debbie.
Yes, yes. Well, I will do. I have some ideas that I might run by her.
And one of the things is that they all spend a lot of time on Toastmasters, and I take my hat off to you all.
Very much.
I've got individual questions, but they're personal ones as far as like separately what you're going to do next year, and Debbie, how do you get to your own club? And Claire, you're always here. And Jackie, you're always doing something, but I'll leave that and let other people ask questions. So
we have about 3 or 4 minutes left. So if anybody's got any more insight they want to share into their own journey, you know, do share away. I've been very inspired by all your journeys. I don't know how you find the time because just being area director has taken up quite a bit of my time. But yeah, as somebody said, it's enjoyable. You really do get stuck in, and you go down the leadership route by accident in Toastmasters. Annika, you've got your hand up again. Yep.
Yes. I once started with a translation project for the translation of pathways in Dutch. Unfortunately, I couldn't get enough people, but that would qualify as a DTM project, I think.
Possibly. I wouldn't know. Do you have to have your project approved? Do you sort of put forward what you're going to do, or so you just go away and do it and then say, ta-da?
Well, only by the person that you're doing it for, I would suggest. Or
Okay.
people that you're doing it
As
for.
it's beneficial.
Okay. Well, I might revisit an earlier thought I had. I did float it to Steve Veers last year before he became the overall director. And he said, put it in front of the new panel. So I might revisit that and see what Debbie thinks of that. Well, thank you so much for sharing all your journeys. Sorry, Annika, you've got another question?
No, I thought Alan had another question.
Oh, right. No, I think he's just not sure how to put his hand down on the computer. I always had that trouble as well.
I did. I just was going to mention that we've done quite a bit in prisons, which is a new angle rather than the schools. And I have to say, after listening to, I think it was Jackie, I think the prisoners are a lot easier to deal with than the 16 to 18-year-olds.
Yep. Even the men's prison we went to, we didn't know how many we were going to get. They said, don't know what you're going to get, might be 5. And in the end, about 16 came in, hulking great people, most of them. And, you know, they loved it. They loved it. They were really hooked and empowered. And some of them even went out and did a dance on the grass outside because they had their certificates and so on. So, yeah, I would say definitely, having been a school teacher as well.
Lot less scary.
Prisoners anytime.
And the other thing about school kids is that they have memories like elephants. They, if you whatever you say, it will come back and hit you later.
So true, so true. But yes, I've enjoyed this. Very interesting listening to how diverse everybody's journey is. And that's a good thing about Toastmasters, I think. It does let you grow in almost any direction that your path takes you. It doesn't put you in a rigid channel. You must do this, must do that. There's a lot of structure to it, but there's also, so I'm realizing, a lot of flexibility as well, particularly in the DTM. So hopefully we have inspired people to go out and start their journey, start collecting bits and pieces. As Debbie said, don't make it your main focus, but I think you need to be aware, because my own daughter set up a new club, but she never claimed anything for it. She just did it because she wanted to do it. So if you're doing one of the things on the list, make sure it's logged, claim for it, and before you know it, we'll all be DTMs. Jackie?
I'd just like to add into that is that quite a lot of people belatedly put projects and stuff in as their DTM projects or whatever. Don't forget that there's an awful lot of good stuff, both in Pathways and on the Toastmasters International website, that will help you and give you guidance for all of these activities. Don't be shy of using it.
I didn't find an awful lot on the actual DTM project. Guidelines, but nothing I could really get my teeth into. So, but maybe I wasn't looking in all the right places. Okay, it is 6 o'clock. In fact, it's a minute past. Vicky, have you got one last question? Can we squeeze you in?
Yeah, this is a strange event. One of our dear Toastmasters died. And as a result of that, I organized all of the her funeral and brought together the members of the club, those who couldn't be present, created videos. I gave a speech. I never put any of this on, recorded any of this into Toastmasters. Is that something that you would do?
Wouldn't know. Can anyone answer that?
I think what Julie mentioned is when you're about to start a new club, there's an option to be selected.
The old club, you know.
The only thing that I can say is that when you're about to start a new club, you have an option to become a sponsor and mentor. And this is what needs to be logged if you want to take them as a credit in the future when you want to become a DTM. But if it's the already going on in your existing club, these are not the things that you can log or like a record as a kind of credit, because if you want to take something as credit, these are the 6 points that Julie mentioned that needs to be logged or recorded. Other than this, nothing counts.
Okay, thank you very much.
Right.
Can I just add to that? Sometimes the things we do, particularly outside of Toastmasters, are just not appropriate for seeking Toastmasters credit for. I've also done organised a funeral and done a eulogy, and I would not have claimed Toastmasters credit for that because I didn't think it was appropriate.
Understand. Okay, we are all inspired. We are all a lot clearer of what we do need to do and not do for DTM credit. So let's all go and start our journey. Thank you all so much for helping to put this together. You've all been fabulous. Couldn't have done it without you. And yes, I am inspired. Are you?